Men who sleep 5 to 6 hours a night will have a level of testosterone.
Training yourself when you go to bed at night to expect that.
Today's video featuring sleep researcher Dr. Matthew Walker alongside other health experts gonna discuss why sleep may be one of the most important factors for your hormones, your health, and your willpower and overall health. Let's get into it.
I don't need 8 hours sleep. I got 3. I'm good, ready to go, kick ass and dominate the world.
Yeah.
It's
the sort of like sleep machismo sort of attitude.
There is a lot of that, right?
Yeah. And
Not me, baby. I like sleep.
Well, I mean, and you'd be glad to know that then, men who sleep 5 to 6 hours a night will have a level of testosterone which is that of someone 10 years their senior. So a lack of sleep will age you by a decade in terms of that critical aspect of wellness, virility, muscle strength,
10
sexual
years.
performance.
That's incredible.
Sleep, I would argue, is the single most effective thing that you can do to reset your brain and body health. And I don't say that flippantly. It's not as though I'm dismissing exercise or diet. Those two things are absolutely critical. But if I were to take you, the individual, and deprive you of exercise for a day, deprive you of food for a day, deprive you of water for a day, or deprive you of sleep for a day, 24 hours, and I were to map your brain and body impairments, it's not even a competition. Sleep, to me, I think, is the elixir of life. It is your life support system.
I think sleep is the most important thing in the world. Go to sleep, good, just simple kind of things, blue blocking glasses, shutting out all the signals and everything.
That's what I'm talking about.
In the bedroom and everything. I think is really important.
What time you put those glasses on?
Normally 3 hours before bed. So these kind of things, small really, I think like to do a lot of things is not good, but to do small things every single day for a longer period, I think really pays off.
Do you have one of those rings that tracks your sleep?
No, never. I never used it.
They can make you kind of get in your head.
I know. That's why I don't want to do it.
If you took 3 walks a week or more, you were 30% less likely to develop dementia in the next 5 years. My father passed away of Alzheimer's dementia. That makes me sit up and take notice. Every single time you move your body, you're releasing a whole bunch of neurochemicals in your brain. Some of them make you just feel good. Serotonin, dopamine, noradrenaline, endorphins. Yeah, I feel good. If I go out for a walk, I feel better than if I had been sitting here for 8 hours. But the other thing that gets released every single time is growth factors. I like to call it a bubble bath of neurochemicals that happens every time you move your body. What that growth factor does is it goes directly into your hippocampus and it helps brand new cells grow.
Let's say I normally go to sleep at
Do y'all
10
feel like
p.m.
y'all growth factors help y'all
and
when
then
y'all walk?
from 10 to 11:30 will be this first phase of sleep, and that's when the growth hormone, big bolus of growth hormone would be released. Does that mean that if I go to sleep instead at 11:30 or midnight that I miss that first phase of sleep?
Yeah.
Why is it not the case that I get that first phase of sleep just simply starting later?
It is a beautiful clock that we have in our body that knows when things should happen. And it's every cell in our body has a clock, and all of those clocks are normally synchronized, and those circadian clocks are synchronized. And so our cells are ready to respond to that growth hormone release at a particular time. And if we miss it, and it's a time in relation to melatonin also. So if you miss it, yeah, you might get some growth hormone release, but it's occurring at a time when your clock has already moved to the next phase. And so it's just a clock thing.
If you are awake from the hours of 10 p.m. to 4 a.m., if you're awake for 2 hours between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. for 2 days per week for 25 days of the year, you qualify as a kind of card-carrying shift worker, and you likely have significant circadian disruption.
Which means that
you are at risk for some of the, and it's not going to happen tomorrow, but if you continue on that pattern that I just described, you are putting yourself at increased risk for cancer and cardiovascular disease, metabolic dysfunction. You can have trouble having children. It impacts fertility, mental health, psychiatric disorders. There isn't a disease or disorder that circadian disruption doesn't touch.
Make sleep your number one life priority. Everything in your life is built around sleep, because when you sleep well, you have more willpower.
Time y'all go to sleep at night.
So I did this study with my brain interface company, Kernel. I measured my willpower when I had poor sleep, when I had good sleep. My willpower fell off a cliff when I had bad sleep. So you're 7 p.m. and you're like, should I eat the donut or not? You're substantially more likely to eat the donut if you have poor sleep.
The Swedish study is groundbreaking. This was a study where they asked 20 to 30,000 Swedish women about their habits in sunlight. And they divided these women into 3 categories. Those women that did not get a lot of sun, those that got a moderate amount of sun, and those that got a lot of sun. And they kept a track of each one that died and what they died of. And when they were done with that, they were astonished, because what they found was that the women who had spent the large amount of their time outside, or spent the most amount of time outside, had the least amount of mortality from cancer, from cardiovascular disease, and non-cardiovascular disease. And those that spent the least amount of time outside had the highest levels of that. The magnitude difference between those two was so much that they were able to show that women who spent the most amount of time outside and smoked had the same mortality as those women that did not spend as much time outside and did not smoke. Being in that category of not spending much time outside in the sun was the same risk factor for death as smoking.
This works for many, many people who are having trouble falling asleep or getting back to sleep. You can try this tonight. I do this often. It works for me. You keep your eyes closed, or you close your eyes. You move your eyes relatively slowly to one side, then the other side, one side, then the other side. Then you move your eyes in a counterclockwise circle, and then a clockwise circle, then up, then down. And then you sort of do a kind of faux cross-eyed attempt. You sort of look down towards the bridge of your nose and you exhale, which is going to slow your heart rate down. Now, if you do this when you're trying to fall asleep, your cerebellum and your vestibular system are essentially transitioning from where you need to be very aware of your body position and make adjustments all the time to one in which you're forgetting about body position. And so anyway, I don't want to get too technical here, but if you have trouble sleeping, try what I just described a few times. Many people find that it helps them fall asleep because you stop thinking about your body position. And of course, bed coolness, room coolness, all can help. But what I just described can be very, very helpful for a number of people.
What is the best sleep advice you've ever heard, received, or given?
Regularity digital detox. Going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time. Do that, so many other things like quantity and quality will fall into place. And then the second is, as much as you can, in the last hour before bed, try to stay off your phone. And in the morning, give yourself 10 minutes. What's the first thing that most people do when they wake up? They open their phone. And there's this wave, this tsunami of anxiety comes flooding in. Every day you are training yourself when you go to bed at night to expect that huge wave of anxiety when you wake up. It's what we call anticipatory anxiety. And most people will have had this. You have an early morning flight and you know you've got to wake up for it. It's essential. And you also know that your sleep that night will be so shallow and so sort of diminutive. Well, this is a diet version of that, but every single day, by way of swiping open on your phone next to you, just give yourself 10 minutes in the morning. I promise your sleep will be better. So regularity digital detox.
The number one sleep tip that I can give people is to wake up at the same time 7 days a week. Let me explain why. When you wake up in the morning, sunlight hits your eye and you have a special cell in your eye called a melanopsin cell, which sends a signal to your brain to turn off the melatonin faucet in your head. But it sets a timer for exactly 14 hours later. It's called the melatonin phased response curve. So if you're waking up at 6, melatonin turns off until about 8 p.m. Then it takes about a couple hours for it to get up and in. So then you start to get sleepy around 9:30 and you go to bed. But if you did that and now it's Saturday and you sleep in until 8, melatonin doesn't kick off until 10 Saturday night. So if everybody woke up at the exact same time every single day, 7 days a week, automatically you would get tired at the right time and you would start going to sleep.
The Swedish study is groundbreaking. This was a study where they asked 20 to 30,000 Swedish women about their habits in sunlight. And they divided these women into 3 categories. Those women that did not get a lot of sun, those that got a moderate amount of sun, and those that got a lot of sun. And they kept a track of each one that died and what they died of. And when they were done with that, they were astonished, because what they found was that the women who had spent the large amount of their time outside, or spent the most amount of time outside, had the least amount of mortality from cancer, from cardiovascular disease, and non-cardiovascular disease. And those that spent the least amount of time outside had the highest levels of that. The magnitude difference between those two was so much that they were able to show that women who spent the most amount of time outside and smoked had the same mortality as those women that did not spend as much time outside and did not smoke. Being in that category of not spending much time outside in the sun was the same risk factor for death as smoking.
One night of bad sleep of 4 hours, your body stops looking for cancer in your body by 72%. So one night, a 4 night. Great. That's a great response. I love it. So one night of 4 hours of sleep, your NK killer cell, this is like cancer surveillance cells, they become 72% less active. So your body's like, look, I got so much going on right now because I didn't get enough sleep. I'm going to stop looking for cancer. So that's like one bad night. And so it really is a big deal. And right now people are very flippant, like, not a big deal. Don't worry about it. I'm going to catch up on the weekend. That's not how the body works.
The most common cause of insomnia is elevated body temperature. So they're too hot. And one of the most common causes of being too hot is hyperglycemia. Most people don't appreciate that when your blood glucose levels spike, you activate your sympathetic nervous system. And of all the times of the day when your sympathetic nervous system is activated, you don't want it to be turned on when you're trying to go to bed. That's when you want the parasympathetic to dominate. So when someone eats that evening snack of spiking their blood sugar, then they go to bed in a hyperglycemic state, they're going to have all of the signs and symptoms of anxiety. They're going to be laying there hot. Their heart is going to be beating hard and fast. They're going to feel that pulse pounding and wonder, what am I anxious about? Why can't I just sleep? Well, it's not because you have anxiety. It's because you went to bed hyperglycemic. People can walk past treats and junk food all day and deny themselves that, knowing that it's not good for them. But the moment 6 o'clock comes around or 7 o'clock, then all of a sudden the temptation starts to take on a new form and they indulge. And that is the worst time. It would be better for them to indulge in that at lunch, for example, than it would be at that point of the day.
Small changes repeated consistently often make the biggest difference. If you found this discussion valuable, there's more evidence-based health content on the channel. How many hours of sleep do you usually sleep? Or have you noticed your mood or craving changing after a bad night of sleep? Let me know in the comments. Peace.